We're just going to wrap up our interview with regard to last night's decision by the Business Leadership South Africa, where they announced they'll be lifting the suspension of Eskom, effectively reinstating the electricity utilities full membership in the organisation. So my guest has been Sizwe Mbele, who is the Director of Strategy at Business Leadership South Africa. So Sizwe, before the break, I just asked you your views on the new CEO, Phakamani Radebe. He's gotten rave reviews. I mean, in fact, I even saw our Reserve Bank governor coming out and saying there can't be a better man for the job.
Yes, thanks very much again. Yeah, I think the footnote towards that is that the extent of state capture has been wide, because while Pravin has been working on these 6 SOCs, nationally there are over about 320 SOCs. No one knows the extent of the state capture. So while we welcome this new development, but the work really begins right now. With regard to Phakamani, at a personal level, and I know him, I was with him at postgraduate. We were doing economics together at UKZN at Durban Westville some time back, but I also, as part of my research, I interviewed him while he was the CEO of the Land Bank. So I do know him at a personal level, because we also lectured together at University of Durban Westville at that time. But professionally, Phakamani is the one that everyone has faith in him, because like Caesar's wife, I mean, I would think that he's beyond reproach. He has demonstrated that when he turned around the Land Bank, which he found it at a terrible state at that time. He has worked at the National Treasury as well, but he has also worked at one of the financial institutions as the head when it comes to corporate and investment banking. So that's the person that you need, who's quite competent, who knows what the profitability, what sales is, what the net income is, what the EBITDA is. So he's quite respected on that. So it's not just knowing him at a personal level, but it's to know the competency and the capability. Yes.
So Eskom aside, and we know that there's still a lot of work to do there. Indeed. I mean, they are nowhere near turned around. There is a lot of work, and as you rightfully say, the true extent of state capture is yet to be established. But there's obviously still a lot of concerns in other companies and also in different spheres of the country's economy. Are we seeing an improvement? Where would you say now is of greatest concern for us?
The greatest concern is, of course, not knowing the extent of the state catch-up project, which one can argue that it dates back more than 10 years ago. You can't undo that quite a grandiose project over the past in the next 6 months or even a year. So no one knows the extent of the state capture. That's one. So the key for us will to make sure that we arrest the leakages. Pravin Gordhan always talk about the recapture of our SOEs and our country. So it's building the capacity before you can even look at which one you need to retain, which one you need to dispose. But also is the appointment of competent executives, because the clear mandate for the board in terms of the government is separate from the executive. So with regard to Eskom, which is the SOCs that is in question, now we're looking forward to know who will be appointed as a COO. I did say that they had advertised that role, the CFO, and get the structures correct before now you can still looking at the organizational capabilities. Because as you know, the president announced the envoy on investment. What they would be looking for is that, do we have the institutions that can hold with regard to building the capabilities of the state, and therefore those things are important. Remember, these SOCs, they were meant to provide the goods and services so that it drive the economy, investment, support SOEs, look at transformation and creating jobs. And of course, the research and development. We haven't come to those things. No. So right now is to make sure that the base can hold before you can look at the balance sheet as well as the business case for each one of those.
All right, Sizwe, thank you. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us here on the program. Sizwe Mbele is the Director of Strategy at Business Leadership South Africa, just talking to us about business in South Africa in general, but more importantly, the decision announced last night to lift a membership suspension on Eskom. We take a break. When we return,